Welcome to Almost 30 podcast.
Welcome, welcome. It's Lindsay Simsick and my girl.
Krista Williams.
Here
My
we
voice is very voicing today. Sometimes your voice is just in the voice.
In the pocket, as they
I'm
say.
in the pocket. My voice is in the pocket today. Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is.
100%. Depends on who I'm talking to.
I wonder what mine is. Yeah, when mine is in the pocket or not. Huh. I don't know what about my current vibrational frequencies. So what we're talking about when we're talking about the voice being in the pocket. So we've done the podcast for 10 years, and at the beginning, our voices were just completely different. And when your voice is kind of your currency, you have to pay attention to it. And also the voice is just such a representation of how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the situation, if you're nervous, if you're anxious,
Yeah.
who's there. I always think about it, like who's truly there. Because sometimes your voice is like your most authentic gauge of how truthful you're being. If you're like, hey, how's it going? Like, oh, it's so great to meet you. I'm trying to get you to think I'm nice and warm and friendly. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, great. Yeah, that's cool.
And that's kind of like tension.
Yeah,
You know,
so
if you
true.
think about the actual like physiology,
So
it's
true.
like the
And
vocal
today I'm a
cords
man.
are like pitched up high.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The high pitched is it. The high pitch is like I'm not threatening. You know, I was actually getting my hair done recently, and this woman had a really deep voice, and she's like, she just said it out of the blue. She's like, I love my deep voice. I was like, I love your deep voice too. It's such a good one. But anyways, so when we're in the pocket, it means that like the muscles of our throat, we're feeling embodied. We feel good when the voice feels good.
Relaxed.
So you can listen and kind of pay attention to your voice and use it as a barometer for how you're feeling, how truthful and authentic you feel.
And also you can like listen to other people and notice what you don't like a voice or you love a voice.
Yes.
It's a thing, especially in podcasting. I feel like people are kind of surfing and
Very
you
important.
definitely connect with different voices for different reasons. So excited about today's episode with Jess Kane. She is one of the founders of BodyBio. It is a family business, and we recently were introduced to their products not too long ago by our dear friend Courtney Swan and
Real Foodology.
And I was glad we got to talk about this part in our conversation with Jess, because when I first got the products, I was like, wait, are taking these oils okay? Like, I think the conversation around certain seed oils had gotten in my head. I didn't really understand the science actually behind.
I love that about you. I'm like, I'll take this.
Yeah, no.
No,
I'm like,
honestly, anything. I'm like, sure.
it was like sitting in my fridge for like a long
Oh, I
time.
love that. I respect you.
But then I was like, oh, this is okay. We actually have to read about the science of things. But
Yeah, Lindsay's like, read a label. I'm like, this is my approach. I hang out with enough people who read labels that by osmosis, I'm going to be in the right place.
Totally. And you're going to be exposed to the right things.
Yeah, I just kind of follow their lead of things and then do my thing.
Yeah, totally. But this conversation is a rangy one, but the core of it is talking about cellular health. And I think we've kind of heard this in the zeitgeist as of late, but we're really getting down to the science of what that actually means and what it actually means to essentially like fortify our cells so that whether it's disease, does not manifest in the body or has a harder time because our cells are just so healthy. Or, something as surface as like what our skin looks like because the health of our cells is just top notch.
Yeah, I remember meeting her at an event I went to in Los Angeles. I went with Courtney because Courtney was speaking. Courtney, again, is Real Foodology, and she's just such an expert in the space and one of my dearest friends and someone I really, really trust. She has so much access to so many different brands. She's kind of like a good filter for me. You're a really great filter in her as well for quality brands, quality ingredients, like, looking at the sourcing. And I remember her really saying that BodyBio was something that she was taking regularly, that she was really loving. And when I was even on a trip recently with a few other girlfriends, this was like their product that they were really taking, whether it's the PC, the butyrate, the balance oil, the liposomal C, or the E-Light, people just really love the product. So their belief, again, like at Body Bio, is that we can have really healthy, functional cells that it's going to support the rest of your body. So if you
Mhm.
need to have better, if you're looking to have better skin, healthy cells will support that. If you're looking to have less brain fog, healthy cells is like the baseline of everything. So if the cells are healthy and functioning, the rest of you can function as well. I love the PC. So
Yeah.
that's their phospholipid complex. So it's really the ultimate health optimization tool. It's the cell protector that repairs and rebuilds each and every one of your 40 trillion plus cells. So basically, this is like the baseline one that you really take. It supports cellular repair, enhances brain function, improves liver health, strengthens immunity, and promotes longevity. And then I also take the liposomal C, which
Mhm.
comes in a pill form actually as well. So you can give your cells the vitamin C that they really need and crave. So this pure non-GMO vitamin C, which has liposomal encapsulation delivery technology, ensures maximum absorption for powerful immune and antioxidant support. So I
Mhm.
use it for the antioxidant support. I didn't know that gray hair. I was with a girlfriend of mine, Olivia, and I was like, dude, I'm getting more gray since the book. And she's like, that's because of oxidative stress. So the higher
Mm.
oxidative stress, it's like a Chinese medicine thing. Your hair like no longer creates the pigment or holds onto pigment. So by
Mm.
reducing your oxidative stress in the body, your hair doesn't turn as gray. That's why people get grays when they're stressed because you have
That's
more
so
oxidative stress. Isn't
interesting.
that fascinating?
There was something I heard the other day, and I have no idea what the science, if there is any behind it, but someone was saying that gray hairs protect you in some way. LOL. I don't know, man, but
Hey,
look it
man.
up.
That's like when you're
Um,
in college and the guys are like, I don't know. I'm not.
okay.
That's a different journey that we're gonna
We talk about
leave.
Jess's health journey as well. She's had quite
Yes.
a health journey. And so we kind of walked through that and what was working for her at different stages of this health journey and what really actually made the difference. And kind of threaded throughout this conversation is her fascination with and relationship with her grandfather, who actually started Body Bio
Mm-hmm.
many, many, many years ago, and just the organic way in which he was experimenting and, you know, working with various doctors and scientists on these formulations, and um, how he was really able to help her with her gut issues. That essentially disappeared after he gave her kind of this combination of butyrate and something
Mm-hmm.
else. I forget what it was, but um, really, really fascinating. We talk about, her wellness routine as a mom of 3
Mm-hmm.
and what she actually makes possible for herself and what has made a difference. She's exposed to so much. We talk about her skin journey. She's not
Mm-hmm.
doing Botox. And so what she's doing instead and how Body Bio's products has really, really helped her skin in a big way. So I think you'll love this conversation, everybody.
Mhm. So Jessica Kane is actually the founder of Body Bio's granddaughter. She's also the CMO. She has a degree in biochemical engineering and a master's of arts in business. So she really works on both sides of the business. So it's a family-owned business, third generation.
Yeah, it's an incredible family owned business. They're super passionate about cutting through the noise in the supplement space and creating resources that empower others to better understand their health. We're really excited about this brand, this
Mhm.
family. They're making a true impact. Also, this is great for kids. I forgot to mention that.
So we know we have to hook you all up. So you can go to bodybio.com. It's BODYBIO.com to get any of their supplements. Again, I take actively in this now very moment. I'm taking their PC, I'm taking their liposomal C, and I also have their butyrate and balance oil that I take as well. So any of their products are
Mhm.
incredible and amazing. It's bodybio.com, and you can use the code almost 30 for a discount. That's almost 30 for a discount.
Enjoy, everybody. We'll see you on the other side. This is an ad by BetterHelp. Okay, let's be real. We've all gone to some funny places for advice. I've definitely turned to my group chat when I should have turned to a professional. Or maybe you've overshared with your hairdresser. That's a good one. Definitely overshare with your hairdresser or gotten surprisingly deep with a stranger in the bathroom line. Those combos can be fun sometimes, but not everyone is a therapist and not everyone is the one. So when it comes to things like anxiety, relationships, or just feeling stuck, that's when I want to talk to someone trained to actually help me. BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists who are clinically trained and know how to guide you through the real stuff in life. And the best part, they've been helping people find the right match for over 10 years. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 5 million people served globally, BetterHelp has a 4.9 rating out of 1.7 million client session reviews, which is pretty phenomenal. They even do the work of matching you with the right therapist through a short questionnaire. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. No extra cost. They make it very, very easy. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse range of expertise. So you can find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/almost30. That's betterhelp.com/almost30. You know those mornings where you wake up already feeling behind? I have those. That was me for a while, juggling everything, just feeling really drained. My skin was dull, digestion was all over the place, and I was just running on empty. And I knew I needed something easy and high quality to actually support me day to day, not just give me a quick fix. And that's when I just reinvigorated my Symbiotica routine. I had been traveling and the book launch, and I had just kind of like fallen off my supplement game. And I just always trust and love Symbiotica. They've been a game changer in my life. Their supplements are clean, research backed, and actually taste good, which makes it very easy to take and a joy to take. One of my favorites right now is their liquid colostrum. It's a vanilla sea salt flavor. It is phenomenal. It supports hair, skin, and nails, keeps my gut healthy, and helps my immune system, especially as we enter fall, winter. That is very, very important to me. Feels like I'm giving my body that strong foundation it's been asking for. I also really have enjoyed their new Shilajit liquid complex. So it's this hazelnut cacao flavor, which tastes like dessert, but the benefits are honestly next level. It boosts my energy and recovery, helps me focus, and supports hormone balance. It's one of those things where you feel the difference in how clear your mind is. It's pretty phenomenal. And then the last one that I wanted to mention in my stack, I love their liposomal glutathione. It's a powerhouse for glowing skin and gut health. The liposomal delivery means your body actually absorbs it faster. And I just notice a lot less bloating and better digestion within weeks with this glutathione. It's a master antioxidant. So, for someone living in the city and just exposed to a lot of free radicals, it's very important that we fight them. So if you want, like me, to just feel good, look good, and actually keep up with your life without burning out, I cannot recommend enough Symbiotica. They've made it super easy for you to try too. So you can go to symbiotica.com/almost30 for 20% off plus free shipping. That's symbiotica.com/almost30 for 20% off and free shipping. CYMBIOTIKA.com/almost30 for 20% off and free shipping. We're so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Talk all things wellness. We have been loving BodyBio products.
I met you at an event in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I went with my dear friend Courtney Swan, who I trust so much and love so much. And, Courtney more so, but I as well, we get access to so many different products and brands and, people and things. And I just remember her being like, no, their stuff is literally the best. Like,
do you know she and I went to college together?
No way.
We were in like similar groups of friends, but we didn't actually know each other. But like really, really close. So I'm sure we've like been to parties and stuff together. But it's interesting that like we went from college.
She was emo.
We weren't same.
Yeah.
We were not who we are today.
Of
Our
course.
journey has been very different through our 20s and our 30s, but we're both in very like similar stages of our life. I think you do that, right? Like you go through your 20s and you have your partying years, and all of a sudden in your 30s, all these health problems start, and so many people connect through that. And it's been really interesting.
That
But
is so funny. Yeah, it's like, it is funny because you contextualize, you're like, that's the Courtney that had like black hair and was listening to like Paramore.
I
and
had
then
a
you're
mullet.
like,
This one a straight up mullet.
yeah, straight. I know. I mean, all of us have been disrespecting our bodies in different ways, but I just remember her really truly loving the brand. And I got some product in the bag, which was so nice. I heard you speak. You did amazing. And it was so interesting because it is a product that I have been using, and the way that I feel different is so unique. But I'm really excited to talk. There's a lot of different things we were talking about before the podcast, about Botox, about cellular health. But I'd love to hear first just like your journey for this. Like, what was like your why? If you're even going from the girl that was in college that was just disrespecting her body, so many people in our audience have been on that journey too.
Yeah.
What brought you to the place where you're like, okay, now I need to take care of myself, and now I'm going to make my life about others being well?
I would say my journey is, like you reflect back, I'm 41 years old now, and like I've had a tough life. I've had some tough stuff happen to me. and not in a victim state at all, but like just reflecting how proud I am of myself and where I've come from and all the health struggles that I've had. I think my journey really started at about 18 years old. My father passed away, trauma, intense, acute trauma, leading to just my stomach literally not working. So then you're going through the ringer of gastroenterologists, colonoscopies, endoscopies, trying to figure out what's going on, IBS, then IBD, H. pylori. It just was like a cascade of issues that led to a place where I really couldn't eat. I was not doing good things to my body in college. This was, my college years and then even afterwards. And that really kind of, for me, was such a pivotal moment of understanding, like, I am not finding the answers. Nothing that I'm doing is giving me the answers. It's a bunch of Band-Aids that's causing things to eventually get worse. And so whether it was, acid reducers in the stomach or different drugs for GI issues, none of it was actually working. And after my father's death for a few years, I got kind of very insular. I was very much in my college years. I was with my friends. I saw my grandfather when I was about, I was probably 22 years old. And he was in San Diego. We were going to eat. And he said, we're going to go get tacos. I said, I can't eat that. And he was like, oh, yeah, you can. Here, take this and this. And I was able to go eat tacos, sit with my grandfather, understand, because this is kind of the early stages of BodyBio when he was just starting to put things together, starting to develop some of the products. And it changed my life because he was like, you're exactly like I am. You have low stomach acid production. So you're not actually digesting the foods that you're taking. You're trying to put a bunch of Band-Aids on it that are reducing things that are already reduced. So there's a root cause to things. And it was really sitting with him that I started to understand that. And then through my 20s, there were different things that happened to me. Through my 30s too, it was a PCOS diagnosis, understanding insulin resistance and the root cause of insulin resistance and PCOS and different fertility issues. It was Lyme disease. It was mold toxicity. So there's been so many different things that have happened over the years that culminate in this moment now in which I'm in my 40s. I feel better than I ever have. I have 3 beautiful babies. We're building an amazing company. And I'm able to reflect back and say, there's a root cause to so many of the issues and the symptoms that people are experiencing. And we just need to really start talking about it because it's not talked about enough.
Your grandfather, what was he experimenting with? What did he give you that day? I'm just so curious, kind of that part of the origin.
So that day, he gave me a betaine HCl, which is hydrochloric acid, hydrochloride. So that is, my stomach was low in production of that. I was taking drugs like Prilosec and Nexium. These are now over-the-counters. Back then, they were prescriptions. I was taking those drugs to lower stomach acid more, when really what I needed was actually more stomach acid to digest these things. But I think what's really interesting is just the journey of trauma, not actually really, even if you're dealing with that trauma, it's still a traumatic incident and how it holds in our body.
Of course.
And, everybody's talked about the body keeps the score and things like that and how it works in the body. But for me, it was an impact on my digestive system. And that kind of flipped a switch. So that day I took HCl, I took some digestive enzymes, I took magnesium after the meal, 45 minutes after the meal. And then I took butyrate when I got home. So he said, before you go to bed, make sure you take some butyrate. And that's super anti-inflammatory, but it's also, we'll get into it, but really working at the root cause of what's causing all this inflammation and dysbiosis in the first place.
It's so funny. We had someone on the pod and they were like, I always say the body keeps the score. And I was like, yeah, an original quote. And they did not laugh. They did not laugh. I was like, oh, wait, are we what page are we on? So again, if we think about that, though, the root cause, we're talking about the root cause here. So would the root cause, you think, be the trauma and the emotions?
100%.
Of your, okay.
100%.
So each of those, though, when we think about mold or Lyme, would you also say there's a root cause beyond?
I think those are causing, well, it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
You hear of people who experience mold and Lyme and they're okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much, we lived in England for 10 years. Yeah. Everybody in the country of England is dealing with some sort of mold toxicity because of how just wet it is there.
So true.
If you live on the coasts, we live on an island now just off the coast of New Jersey. These places experience California coast, Oregon coast, you're going to experience more mold than others. But our detoxification systems, some are more backed up than others. Some are dealing with other root cause issues, whether it's trauma or whether it's something else that's caused an issue for them in their detoxification pathways.
When you say detoxification pathways, what are you talking about for people that don't know?
So I think if you look at somebody who is experiencing mold and they're doing okay, but they have some symptoms, maybe brain fog, maybe acne, maybe they're not down the cascade enough where it's leading to like rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune issues, mast cell activation syndrome. That person may just need a little bit of support through their liver because of all these things like we were talking about earlier, endocrine disruptors, things that tax our detoxification system, that build up this kind of toxic bucket that we have. And for some, they can manage that and it's okay and they can get by taking certain things. For others who get really, really sick, their toxic burden's way too high. And they need to really work on decreasing that and taking care of their mitochondrial health, taking care of their cellular health before they can actually detoxify normally.
Just on that note, I heard you say, I think it was an Instagram post, but taking care of you said cellular and mitochondrial health before doing something like peptides or before taking a certain supplement or... So can you speak to that a little bit? Because I think, we're seeing all of these things that we want to do because we want the benefits, what we're reading about, but we're not kind of taking care of the cells so that they can actually either absorb it, benefit from it, et cetera.
We're not looking at the big picture, right? We are sitting on social media and we're being fed so much information these days between podcasts and Instagram and influencers talking about God knows what. It's everywhere. And discernment is becoming, I think, really, really hard. So if you kind of big picture look at our health and the systems in our body, the root of everything is our cells. Our cells make up our organs. Our cells make up everything in our body. There's in women, I think now they know it's like 32 trillion cells. In men, it's around 40 trillion cells. We're making cells every second. Cells are dying every second. It's a really complex biochemical process. What's really interesting is disease. Everyone dies of disease one day. That's how we all die. Disease occurs in our cells. And so we are using these little levers, whether it's NAD or a peptide or one of these kind of macro issues to try to treat an overall symptom that we're looking at. But if your cells are disrupted, none of that is actually going to work. We have to work on that foundation that builds our entire body first. And that's what my grandfather truly believed in. You could shore up and make more resilient your cells, and then from there layer on other things that can help your body. But if you don't actually take care of the cells at the root and take care of your cells as the foundation of health, none of it is going to really work that well.
How would one know that their cells need to be taken care of? Like, how would one know if they're having issues with their cellular health?
I think everybody is. Who do you know who doesn't have a symptom of something? Brain fog, fatigue, hormonal issues, perimenopause. Like, what is perimenopause? We shouldn't be having perimenopause.
Yeah.
There's normal hormonal fluctuations for women, but this is this new thing that we're kind of being told is normal. It's not normal. We have a slew of chemicals and toxins and all of these things that have been introduced into the world. And now we have slower detoxification, imbalances of hormones because of the inability to detoxify and move these hormones through the liver. And I was sitting with a friend of mine who's a doctor about a year ago, and I remember she was talking on a panel, unbelievable MD, Harvard trained, like incredible. She got Lyme disease when she was in her residency. And it completely shifted her away from traditional allopathic medicine, more towards an integrative approach to medicine. And she was saying, you should actually go through menopause experiencing very minimal symptoms. You shouldn't be experiencing perimenopause. You shouldn't have horrible fertility issues in our 30s. All of these things are because we are just living in like a toxic sludge. And there are things that you can do about it that I think people are unaware of. And what you can do to help benefit those things at the root is take care of your cellular health. So that is going to help you when you start really considering your cellular health. It's going to help with all those downstream biochemical processes like detoxification.
When it comes to wellness, I'm a little bit of both. I love my cozy, familiar routines, but I also get excited when something fresh and new comes along, I love to test it out. And that's exactly how I felt when I tried Kachava's new strawberry flavor. I was like, strawberry, really? but it is so good. It's bursting with real freeze-dried strawberry, and it tastes like summer in a glass. And I just love a fresh strawberry taste. Sweet, fresh, and actually nourishing. So what I love about Kachava is that it's not just a protein shake, it's a whole body meal. Each shake has 25 grams of plant-based protein, 6 grams of fiber, and 85 plus superfoods, nutrients, and plant-based ingredients. Think adaptogens, antioxidants, greens, omega-3s, basically all the good stuff your mind and body crave. It is also ridiculously easy too. I throw 2 scoops in the blender with almond milk or regular milk and maybe some frozen banana. And in under a minute, I've got this creamy filling shape that keeps me energized and satisfied for hours. So whether it's breakfast on a busy day, a quick lunch between calls, or something to refuel after a workout, Kachava fits right in. And honestly, tastes amazing. So the strawberry, I'm loving. It's really next level, but I also love their classic flavors like chocolate, vanilla, and matcha. There are no artificial flavors, no weird aftertaste, just pure goodness. You've never tasted strawberry like this, so try the new one. Go to kachava.com and use code almost30 for 15% off your next order. That's KACHAVA.com. Use code almost30 for 15% off. Okay, so let me paint the picture. Growing up, my comfort foods were always the same. Okay, I remember them vividly. Warm Hawaiian rolls at family dinners, a bagel on a Sunday morning slathered in cream cheese, and of course, giant bowls of noodles. I loved this like cheesy sauce that I used to get at the grocery store. But the problem is, as I got older, those foods didn't always love me back. That's why I am obsessed with Hero Bread. It lets me keep my favorites without the sacrifice, and my family loves them too. Their Hawaiian rolls are my number one. They're soft and pillowy, exactly how I remember them. Delicious. Their bagels, so good. My son also loves them. And these products have 17 to 19 grams of protein with only 1 gram of net carbs per serving. I am blown away. And now, Hero noodles, they're here. Honestly, been a game changer. They've got 12 grams of protein, 5 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and 32 grams of fiber, plus 60% fewer calories than typical noodles out there, which means yes, pasta night is officially back in rotation over here. And no one at the table can even tell the difference. My husband did not tell the difference. What surprised me most is the texture. I thought healthier bread or noodles would taste dense or cardboardy, but Hero Bread is fluffy and chewy and satisfying. The noodles are yummy. It feels indulgent, but it totally fits with my health goals, whether that's more protein, more fiber, which I am on a fiber kick, or just having meals that like are incredible and also healthy. And they don't just have like typical bread, they have tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls. And they have exciting drops, like batch drops, like the 2 gram net carb croissant, which, oh, like I'm speechless over these. I got to try them once, and now it has a 23,000 person wait list. Okay. I'm signed up for the next one. The bottom line is Hero Bread means no compromises, just delicious bread, rolls, tortillas, bagels, and now noodles that give me everything I love about my comfort foods, but with 0 grams of sugar, high fiber, and ultra low net carbs. If you're ready to skip the lettuce wrap and get back to soft, fluffy bread that loves you back, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Just go to hero.co, that's hero.co, and use code A30POD at checkout. That's hero.co, and the code is A30POD. A30pod is the code for 10% off your order. What do you feel was kind of the product or supplement that really you felt like, oh, this really, really works and people need to have exposure to this or use this?
It's phospholipids. It's PC.
Okay.
So when it was about 2016, my husband and I got married. 2017, my grandfather came over for Thanksgiving and he sat down with my husband. He said, I need help. I believe this should be in the hands of every single person on the planet, given the health trajectory that we're seeing for everybody. And I need you to come over and help. And so I was pregnant with our first. And so I'd been pregnant once before. I had a miscarriage. Second pregnancy, dealing with, some PCOS issues that I resolved, which was that was another kind of point of transition of my health journey that I think was really impactful. And so we came over. I actually wasn't working at the company at first. I would just go sit with my grandfather every day and just listen to the way his brain worked. And he was so heavy in the research that you would walk away from him saying, what is PC? And it would take 4 hours to get an answer. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so just sitting with him, I realized, like, yeah, this is something he's saying. He doesn't mean it as a marketing gimmick. He doesn't mean it as something that's not meaningful. It means he's been working with doctors for 20 years, seeing the impact that this is having on people, and he wants to get it out to the masses. How do we help him do that? And so I think that was really the supplement for us that was like, okay, he used to say, everybody else has the sizzle, we have the steak. And it was such like a funny saying, but it's true. And so that was really the moment that for us was like, okay, we have to do something about this because there really is something behind it. And he's 90 years old and he's not going to be able to do this forever.
He's not an instrument.
How does it actually work, like on the cells, like in the body?
It's fascinating. So phospholipids, I think for so long we've been really devoid and avoiding healthy fats. And we are thinking healthy fats are avocados, and we are avoiding polyunsaturated fats and seed oils. Our cells are actually made up predominantly of phospholipids, which is one form of bioactive lipid, and essential fatty acids, which are polyunsaturated fats. So these are things that are not solid at room temperature, oils that are not solid at room temperature. And an avocado or olive oil are not going to supply these right type of fats. So typically we're supposed to be getting phospholipids from food, eggs, mainly egg yolks, meat, soy, but so many of us are avoiding soy because it's become so industrialized and kind of dirty, unfortunately. And they essentially create this bubble around your cells. So we're all familiar with the term leaky gut. And I talk often about this concept of leaky cells. So you get these holes in that bubble. And then the bad stuff that should be protected from your cells, that's supposed to be floating around in the what's called the extracellular matrix, are getting into our cells. These microplastics, these viruses, these toxins, these heavy metals, these chemicals from things like, bleach and cleaning agents and makeup, all of these things are getting into that leaky cell, and they're getting into our mitochondrial nuclear DNA, and they're altering our health. So we all have an Achilles heel. So my Achilles heel has always been my thyroid. I always lean towards hypothyroidism, my thyroid, my gut. It's like hereditary gallbladder issues. We all have what that Achilles heel is. For some, it may be certain types of cancer in their genetics. For some, it's autoimmune disease. When these little things get into our cells and alter our epigenetics, those Achilles heel issues are activated sooner than they should be.
You mentioned seed oil, so I'm curious about like kind of that whole campaign against seed oils and what is actually true, what you believe, what seed oils
It's so hard.
are in the PC
in balance oil. So that's a different product we make, but it's really important.
Okay.
So I'll distinguish between the two.
Okay.
There is seed oils that are rancid, chemically treated, heated, transferred into, your local supermarket canola oil that's just
canola,
awful, oxidized and terrible for you.
Yeah.
And then that's sent to a restaurant, and that's used to cook your food. It's heated to very high temperatures, and it's completely oxidized. That's going to damage your cells. Then there's essential fatty acids that come from seeds, that come from our food. We actually don't make essential fatty acids in our body. We need to consume them from foods.
Okay.
And right now, we are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We are considering essential fatty acids to be seed oils, and we're throwing everything out. So people are becoming extremely afraid of any time they see safflower, sunflower, flaxseed oil. And these things are critically important to our cells. They are responsible for cell membrane, that bubble that protects our cells. They're responsible for keeping it robust and healthy and looking like a grape instead of shriveled up like a raisin. And we need our cells to have these healthy fats, these polyunsaturated fats, these essential fatty acids, in order to function properly. And so we're having this very myopic view of seed oils that is damaging. And when you speak to registered dietitians, when you speak to people who really study this stuff, they understand the nuance and the difference between the two. And so being afraid of nuts, being afraid of raw seeds. I think raw seeds are like one of the most beneficial thing that women, particularly with hormonal regulation, seed cycling, great for our hormonal health, really important for our cycles. But you're seeing people say like, oh no, I can't eat sunflower seeds or I can't eat flax because they have seed oils in them. Two very different things.
So one is processed, one is not. One is oxidized, one is not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. With the seed cycling, how do you use seed cycling in your life?
I do it. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. I was getting these like headaches kind of after my third baby.
Yeah.
I was really working on, after I had him, liver health, liver detoxification. I've always kind of lent towards like fat malabsorption, gallbladder issues. So I was working on taking the right supplements and the right kind of tinctures and things to make sure that my hormones were actually processing correctly. But about like 9 months afterwards, and then about a year afterwards when I was ending breastfeeding, that happens again. And I was getting these headaches, and a friend of mine was like, you should try seed cycling. And I started doing it and I love it. So during certain phases, I'll have pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. And then I switched to, safflower and pumpkin, and then switched to sunflower at the end of my cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I also incorporate evening primrose oil and balance oil. So balance oil is supplying a very carefully treated version of these oils in an organic form, cold pressed. And so I'm getting all those in to make sure I'm getting the right fats for hormone regulation, hormone production, all of these.
Should children be taking these oils? Like at what?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that, like dosage.
I
and
even
like,
recommend, because I have so many people, if you can't breastfeed, you're getting these essential fatty acids through the mother when you breastfeed. If you are not, you look in formulas. So many of these formulas include dried or dehydrated versions of these oils. It's the processing that destroys the oils and the way they work in the body. So you want to be giving them these oils in the right form. So I always suggest balance oil, even at a low dose in baby formula, can be used at like, half a teaspoon in there. But my children, including when I started getting them on foods and started eating kind of eggs and meats and different things, bone broths, I would always put a little balance oil in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
If someone was listening and they heard egg yolks and eggs, and then they also heard the seed oils, is it true that they could include both of those in their diet and that they'd be fine?
You can start to, but don't include seed oils. Include the unprocessed, right? The seeds.
Yes, yeah, the seeds.
Include the seeds. Include the nourishing,
Yeah.
nutrient-dense, whole food forms of these things. Egg yolks in particular, if you can digest them. If you can't digest them, you need to address your gallbladder health. You need to address your bile flow. And one way that I did that in particular, anytime I felt that, have you guys ever felt that like upper quadrant pain, gallbladder issues?
No.
For people who experience it, it's awful. And typically it's going to lead to gallstones and somebody having their gallbladder removed. But you can do things ahead of time to get that bile moving and get those gallstones moving. A couple products I love for that. We make a product called Tudka that's extremely powerful at getting bile flow and liver health intact. There's another product called Gallbladder ND by Premier Research Formulas. Love that. Milk thistle also can help. It's not a cure, but these things can kind of help to get the bile flow moving. And the second that happened, you can digest eggs again. But for the people who are like, I can't eat an egg, it just makes me nauseous, that's why.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, eggs are sometimes gross to me.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm like,
Depending on
yum,
how it's
yum.
cooked, or
And then
no?
sometimes I'm like, ugh. I don't know, maybe it's where it's from. Maybe it's just a feeling.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes I just like look at them, I'm like, that's so gross.
Have you had a journey with like your diet, fads, trends, like vegan, not anything like that?
I
that has
haven't
affected your
stuck
health?
to a lot of fats. I think I had to be really restrictive in my early 20s when I was going through all the stomach issue things. And I think it did lead to kind of unhealthy eating patterns that I recognized and dealt with. And I think once I could eat again and once I've understood how to feed the body the nutrient dense foods, I think it's really changed my health trajectory, but also how I am as a mother, how I cook for my kids,
What does that
I
look like
focus
for you
on.
today?
A lot of whole foods. So it's really a lot of whole foods, fruits and vegetables, as much organic as possible when it's not, just making sure it's cleaned. A lot of meats, a lot of eggs, starting our day off with protein. And, looking for the healthiest alternatives that you can. I was shocked the other day. I was just looking for kind of back to school things, how much is out there if you really start looking for it that are better options than kids' snacks and Doritos and Cheetos and all this crap that you find out there. And there's good options out now.
Yeah,
which
and you
is
gotta
exciting.
get creative. I think that's why, like the processed food, it is so convenient. It is so
It is.
quick, and like with the chaos of like trying to feed multiple kids, especially, I think some parents just are like, I just need to do the easy thing, which I totally get. But
And so
I
for
do
me,
agree with you. It takes a little
that's
bit
like
of effort.
eggs. Let's just start our day with protein.
Yeah.
You may go to school and pick up something in the cafeteria that I'm not going to want you to eat. That's okay. It's a balance. It's a balancing act in both if you're a parent and if you're not. It's a balancing act in running down the street in New York City and, having a 20-minute lunch break and looking for the best possible option. Do you have time in the morning to cook yourself lunch? If you don't, how do you find the right things? I think that I'm seeing so much unhealthy behavior around these fads and the trends in eating and in foods and restrictive avoidance of things that I think that's also a huge problem. And I think balance is so important to the conversation.
I agree.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they have an illness or autoimmune, they become so fearful of food.
Yeah.
And I think it's been interesting. Like, the more information that's out there around certain foods, the fear that people have of foods, it's almost like a lot of the public doesn't know how bad food is, but then a lot now know and now have this fear that can kind of turn to eating disorder. I see that all the time in Los Angeles.
I'm sure.
It's like the overabundance of information, of testing, of all of this. Like, yeah, it's just like, okay,
It's a
how do
lot.
we live?
It's a lot. And I think for me, a big part of what we do at BodyBio in particular is about how do we help you with the foundation that's going to set you up for more success and have that balance in your life overall. And I think we see that so often when people start taking the products is they feel differently, they feel better, they remark on how much more their brain is functioning. And it's just foundational supports that we need in everyday life in today's world.
People think podcasting is just talking into a mic, but let me tell you, my brain does not shut off when I turn off the mic. Between planning episodes, researching topics, just thinking about the business. Sometimes my sleep gets disturbed, and lately it has been, and I have been leaning on my Beam Dream Powder. It's incredible. I got introduced to Beam's Dream Powder last year, and my sleep has just been so phenomenal when I take it. Dream is an all-natural sleep blend made with science-backed ingredients like reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin, all designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And unlike other sleep aids, there's no next day grogginess, just really deep sleep that helps you actually feel good in the morning. So since adding Dream to my routine, I am finally sleeping through the night, if my son lets me, without tossing and turning, without my mind running. I just wake up actually feeling refreshed, not groggy, not exhausted, just ready to take on the day. And I'm so thankful. And I'm not the only one. Beam has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep, and 92% of users surveyed reported better sleep and waking up refreshed. And honestly, what I love most is Beam is an American company built and run right here. So when you support them, you're backing real people making great products the right way. Plus, for a limited time, Beam is giving our listeners their best offer yet, up to 40% off. Unbelievable. Try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. Go to shopbeam.com/almost30 and use code almost30 at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/almost30 and use code almost30 at checkout for up to 40% off. In my 20s, I was just financially a little bit unwell. I can't tell you how many times I've been hit with random overdraft fees or had that moment of panic realizing a bill auto drafted before my paycheck even cleared. My younger self would have loved Chime because it takes away so much of that stress. Chime understands that every dollar counts. That's why when you set up direct deposit through Chime, you can get access to fee-free features like free overdraft coverage, getting paid up to 2 days early, and more. Here's what I love most. Chime is banking done right. You can open a checking account with no monthly fees and no maintenance fees. With qualifying direct deposits, you're eligible for free overdraft up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. And to date, Chime has spotted members over $30 billion. That is wild. Plus, you get access to over 47,000 fee-free ATMs. That's more than the top 3 national banks combined. For me, I love the daily balance updates and real-time alerts. They've totally changed the way I track my spending. I say that you must look at your finances. You must look at what you have nearly every day. I use Chime, and you should too. Work on your financial goals through Chime today. Open an account in 2 minutes at chime.com/almost30. That's chime.com/almost30. Chime feels like progress.
Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs. Bank ranking and number of ATMs according to U.S. News and World Report 2023. Chime checking account required.
is really what it comes down to.
What's the sodium butyrate?
Yeah, that stuff's fascinating. So
Yeah.
it's a product that my grandfather developed. It's made in the body. So we make sodium butyrate in the body. It's a byproduct when you have a really healthy microbiome. And like, who has a healthy microbiome these days? So
You know what's so crazy? Everything you're saying, I'm like, I do. I'm like everyone feels sick. I'm like, I don't.
good.
Yeah.
I feel
I don't
so
feel
well.
sick.
I feel so. I don't have any health issues.
I love that.
Not to be like a bitch, but I'm just like, I just want to offer.
You have good genetics.
Yeah, I would say that for sure. You can't. I would be delusional to not think, but also it's like when you take care of your emotional health, your physical health, your mental health, like it should be working.
Yeah.
You know.
And you give it foundational
Yeah,
supports.
totally. I use this
You
stuff.
can be very successful with your health journey.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are devoid of those things.
Yeah, totally.
And they're living in the wrong types of environments and they're really stressed out about it. And it takes an emotional toll on their health. And all of these things kind of cascade into a large
Mentally,
problem.
not so well all the time. Physically. Okay, so sodium butyrate, healthy byproduct of healthy bio.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's responsible for so many different things in the body. It's super anti-inflammatory in the gut, but it also helps to regulate the immune system to like tell the immune cells what type of immune function to actually act as. And systemically, what we are seeing in today's world is people are low in butyrate production. And so you have a disrupted gut. You do not have the right keystone strains of bacteria in your gut, which is happening even from birth these days. And then the overprescription of antibiotics and gut disrupting chemicals and glyphosates and pesticides and all of these things that are disrupting the pathways in our gut are not allowing enough butyrate to be made. And butyrate is just such a cool molecule. And you know, it's talked about in terms of like bloating and regularity and all these like great benefits, but at the foundation of it, it's essentially creating like a happy environment for your gut, and it's super effective.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your thought around the gluten intolerance that people have? So we think I guess the main headline is like our wheat is treated with glyphosate and that's the main thing. Do you have any other thoughts on that? Like as far as like gut health goes? And
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think if you look at a package of Italian pasta, there's 3 ingredients. If you look at an American pasta, there's 10.
Yeah.
I think that the over kind of processing of these things has damaged our food sourcing. And so I think that's why you have so many people returning to like making sourdough or looking for, there's a great place at our farmers market that's actually in New York farmers markets as well called Lost Bread. And it's going back to making bread in the original ways, limited ingredients, organic ingredients when you can, and just making it in the more traditional ways that's fermenting the dough, that's allowing it to be broken down in the body better. But I think that a lot of the intolerances are built up over time because we have so many disrupted systems, whether it's your brain, whether it's your liver, whether it's your gut in the body. And so we're so much more reactive to these things in general. I'm a pretty much like gluten avoider. But I don't go crazy about it. I'm not asking for gluten-free sauces in restaurants. I'm enjoying the time I get to spend in a restaurant with, you know, my loved ones and not kind of going crazy about things like that. I try to control what's in my home for my children. And then outside of the home, if they go to a birthday party and need a piece of pizza, great. Some people don't have that luxury, right? Some people have GI disorders in which they really can't, and things like celiac. But I think you're seeing these things on the rise because we have such a disrupted system in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. I remember a long time ago we had someone on and they were talking about how it's the glyphosates.
Yeah.
So oftentimes they're spraying the corn and the wheat with glyphosate, and then it sits in these silos.
Same with oats.
Yeah, same with oats, and then it just like creates mold, and it just kind of sits, and so then it's not only the mold, but it's the glyphosate that people are really having the reaction to when they have gluten or celiac, rather than the actual thing. And that's why when you go to Europe, they don't use the glyphosates like we do. So you can actually have it. So it's more of like a glyphosate issue.
It is. There's a lot of different herbicides and desiccants that are used in this processing of all of our food.
Wow. What's a desiccant?
Removing the moisture.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a way in those silos to remove the moisture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's like, this is oats. And you're like, okay. And then it's like, desiccant.
Let's destroy it.
Glyphosate. They're just like.
But the same thing happens in supplements. And I see this all the time. And there's really bizarre regulation around like what you can put on a label and what you can't. But there's a lot of things that are used as processing agents and processing aids that are not included on labels. And so I think it's it's a big problem.
Wow.
And it's not transparent. And most of the supplements that you're taking are made by some contract manufacturer who is probably not even sharing that information with the person that walked in that door to make that product. So they wouldn't even know unless they asked to really look at the product specification documents exactly what's in there.
Wow.
What concerns you about some of these processes?
I think it's the taking an oat and destroying it, just like denaturing it.
Yeah.
Making it less nutrient dense in that process. It's the same with a seed oil, right? It's taking something that should be processed this way. It should be protected. One that actually I was talking to Courtney about the other day is fish oil. The processing and the adding of these chemicals and solvents to get this fish oil out destroys the delicate nature of that essential fatty acid. That is a polyunsaturated fat. It is omega-3. It is part of the omega-3 pathway in the body. It's delicate. And we are just kind of taking it and ruining it and then putting it in a pill and saying, here, take this. It's going to help your body.
Is anyone doing it right?
I mean, I do it right.
I know you do it right. But in terms of like, does it have to be,
I think
how are you doing it right?
I think there are companies that are looking to be really traceable and showing and transparent. I think Ritual's doing a good job with that. I think in terms of quality control and showing you what's going on in their process and why they put certain things. Now Foods is a really interesting company that's doing that well. It's a family-owned company as well. I think what happens when larger conglomerates come in and buy some of these smaller companies that you thought you trusted for so long and practitioners trusted, they change those things. They change a lot of those little things. And this is why people have such an uproar when Siete Foods gets purchased or, you know, some of
Did you
these.
see they already started to change it?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
And
of
that
course.
doesn't always happen.
So they already
Yeah,
started to
I
change
was
the
gonna say,
recipe.
Interesting.
And it was
what
like-
changed specifically?
I
Do you
think
know?
they switched a few things, but someone like called it out and they're like, "Hey, thanks for letting us know. We're just trying out a few different forms of the recipe." Yeah, so it's basically because it's who bought it? Pepsi, Unilever.
I think that was Pepsi.
I thought it was Pepsi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just every time.
Wow.
Like
Sometimes it's okay, but it's typically when like a smaller.
totally.
I tell my husband, I'm like, we need to make like a better version of one of those, right?
oh,
Like,
that's interesting.
it'd be such a great thing to do and have
better
like
versions
all
of
this.
sorry, what?
Like a larger conglomerate
Yeah, that's
that's
smart.
doing things differently.
Yeah.
In
But
the
I think-
CPG space, that would be so relevant, and that would be so because there's so many, especially in the CPG food industry. There's so much happening right now, so much because so many brands came on the scene in like 2020 that time, and now so many brands are going under, and so it'd actually be like a really smart time for that. I know supplements would be a little bit different, or even having like your own labeling system. Like I've thought about that a little bit, where it's like applying for your own like BodyBio approved label. So it's like going through certain certifications, certain
There's some
like,
of these things coming up.
processes.
There's one called Supco that I know we're in, that they take a look at like all the documents and the quality control checks and
Wow.
all of the, because the other problem is a lot of these certifications, like, you know, verified whatever, gluten-free or certified regenerative, whatever it is, they're expensive. So they're expensive on the manufacturer's part. For testing every batch can cost thousands of dollars. So it's a delicate dance.
I wanted to talk about skincare.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's many benefits to your products, but I think one of the most obvious benefits to me is just better skin health in a real way. And I feel like I do the most when it comes to skincare. And I've just really loved the difference I've experienced. I feel like my skin's more plump. I feel like my skin has like more life to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes like, you know, you look in the mirror, you're like, my skin looks a little dull. Why? So it's been really incredible. So can you speak to your skin journey and just
Yeah.
kind of what you've experimented with, what's worked, what's not, and why specifically your products are incredible for skin health?
I've always been the type of person to be doing lasers, 20s and 30s. Like I was always experimenting. I was always going to a facialist, even when I had no money and I couldn't afford it. I was like, I'm going to save. I'm going to make sure I go see my facialist at least once a quarter.
Yeah.
And I was always experimenting with different skincare, probably since the age of, you know, really young when I shouldn't have been using those things. But I just loved it. I always have. When I started getting involved in BodyBio and I was sending all my friends, you know, different products, I would always send them foundational, which is PC, balance oil, and butyrate. And about a month later, they would say to me, why does my skin look so great? Why is my hair falling out less? Why do I look more radiant? Why, you know, why are my under eye bags seeming to get better. And for the longest time, I was like, oh, that's great. It's just, it's taking care of your foundation of your health. And I didn't really put much to it. And I was speaking to a friend who's a dermatologist a few years ago, and we were talking about it because she said, God, your skin looks really, really good. What are you doing? And I said, well, I've been taking a ton of fats. I'm getting those healthy fats in. And we were talking more in depth about it. Our skin is our largest organ. Our organs are made up of cells. If our cells are deficient in the bioactive fats that make up our cells, they're going to look dull and sunken and shriveled. Talked about that shriveled raisin versus a plump grape. And when you start feeding your cells the right fats, you will see better quality in the skin. You will see more plumpness in your skin as you age. You will see better texture, less skin laxity, because you're feeding the cells exactly what they need. And so it sounds like snake oil when we talk about PC and balance oil and these healthy fats, because you're like, oh, it's going to help with your brain fog. It's going to help with your gut. It's going to help with your liver. And then it's also going to help with your skin. But all of these things are made up of our cells. And so when we talk about that like foundation, it's helping to plump from within. So a couple things that I think are really critically important for our skin are the two products, the healthy fats, antioxidants like vitamin C, I think are really important for that, building the collagen synthesis. I don't take a collagen supplement. I just support the body's ability to produce collagen and then eat, the right foods. And then I think it's also like specific treatments. So we talked a little bit about, just doing alternatives to things. So I don't do Botox, but I've done a fat transfer. I don't do any fillers. That's what helped me there. I'm actually going after this to do my second PRF. So I'm doing another under eye PRF, which I noticed great results from the first one, and
I've
I
heard
loved
such
it.
good things.
Yeah. And
What is it exactly?
so they take your blood, they spin it, and they inject the stem cells back in. And so
it helps with under eye bags. Like
exactly.
any darkness, it just kind of fills it in.
I
Instead of
noticed
just
a
filler
huge
sub-
difference.
Yeah.
In even the first one that I did, typically they recommend 3, so I'm going to try 2 and see how it is.
Great.
Yeah. And then most recently, I did a really cool treatment. I'm going to pause on my lasers. And I want to focus on 2 treatments that I'm looking at. So one is called the Photona, and then the other is Neogen. And this is a hot plasma treatment that they treated. I did my whole face. I did my neck. I'm going to do my chest next. And it was fascinating to see the before and after. And so the woman who helped me with it is out in the Hamptons, Jess Arden at Hamptons Biomed. They were trained by the owner of this device, and apparently it helps with hyperpigmentation, wrinkles. It helps with skin laxity. It helps with everything. So I actually did a treatment in my lips, and then I did the full face. And it's been the best investment in that type of kind of laser category that I've done so far. So it helps to thicken the skin as opposed to thin it, which lasers do.
Is it the Plasma Babe? She does that? Have you heard of Plasma Babe?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she does look.
Yes, I wonder if that's it. Because
Yeah,
that's
could
the
be.
plasma.
Is that what it is?
neoplasma.
Like little.
It's like this
dots?
little
Yeah, that's what it is.
like flash of this thing.
And then
I think
does it
like
look
nitrogen.
like little black dots?
Mine didn't, but I think some can.
Some can.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
But I was excited to hear about that
Lasers
one.
lasers really work for my skin, but I think you have to be very careful. Like if you're like a lot of my friends have more melanin, it does not work.
No.
If you have like sensitive skin, it does not work. So it's like lasers are very good for specific people.
Yeah.
But I haven't done one in a really long time.
I'm like I was doing them every quarter.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm gonna focus on this Neogen. I'm gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I'm really focusing on like from within, what am I doing afterwards
Yeah.
to make sure that my skin's not drying out.
Yeah.
So just making
Yeah.
sure I'm taking the right products. We
Yeah.
put together a little bundle called Skin Cell Essentials that has
Smart.
PC, balance oil, and liposomal C. So
Smart.
it just makes it easier for people. People want simplicity. So
Yeah.
Because
I'll
both of
give you
y'all
some
don't do
simplicity.
Botox. People love that conversation. What's your reasoning for not?
I think I tried it once.
Yeah.
I think I tried it when I was like 39, maybe 40, and it just didn't feel right to me. I felt like intuitively, I was like, I feel like I want to crawl out of my skin right now.
Yeah.
I wanted that frozen forehead look. I wanted the no wrinkles in my forehead. And then when I got it and looked back at pictures of myself, I thought my facial movement changed and I didn't really look like me.
Yeah.
And I think that in the age of social media, when we're on video so much, I could feel it more and I could see it more. And so for me, it just didn't resonate. I do think there are questions about it crossing into certain things. I've had a very close family friend who did it for a very long time actually do it. And then about 3 weeks later started seeing double and went through every scan known to man. It was nothing to do with her brain. And her doctor finally said, I think this is because of Botox. And I think you see so many people who've had reactions and have mast cell activation syndrome and have reactions to it that we can't just think it's just staying here. It is going to other places. I will say that when you are taking the healthy fats, when you're eating BodyBio PC and balanced oil, it does help to remove a lot of these biotoxins from the body. So we're doing an amazing clinical trial next year on microplastics, looking at the decrease in microplastics in the body using BodyBio PC. I can't make the claim yet, but I can talk about the trial because I've seen case studies that we've been doing where you're seeing 100% reduction in microplastics. And so it's going to go in and help to remove a lot of these biotoxins anyway. So I just kind of doubled up on my PC after Botox and thought, like, this just isn't for me. I'm not going to do this again.
Okay, so lately I've been giving my closet a little glow up, and honestly, Revolve has been my go-to for nearly all of it. It is just about to be the fall season, and I love that whether it's a night out, a wedding, or just my everyday run around the city, but still want to look put together vibe, Revolve has me covered. I have used them throughout our tours, interview processes. It's been just an incredible place for me to get looks that I feel confident in, that really like express my style in a unique way. And I love most how easy it is to shop on Revolve. The curated edits make it so simple to find exactly what I need without endless scrolling. That's the worst. Vacation looks, concert outfits, or even just elevated basics. Plus, they seriously have everything. Over 1,200 brands and over 100,000 styles with new arrivals daily. And the recommended for you picks are actually spot on with my style. I'm kind of freaked out. It's kind of cool. My current favorites, okay, I just want to give you like an insight into my card, like what I just got. So I got I got the cropped sweater from Fear of God Essentials. It's like this really beautiful green color, great for fall. Nice big oversized sleeves, so cute. I also got the crew sweatshirt from WAO. It's just like a very simple basic, but I think I can like dress it up, dress it down, be my like kind of chic casual that I like. Oh, and I got the new Dunk Low sneaker from Nike. It's a cacao wow and coconut milk colors. Okay, so picture like that brown and cream. It is screaming fall. I'm so excited. So I am getting all of my wardrobe pieces this fall from Revolve, and I highly recommend. Okay, you are going to discover brands on Revolve, which I have many times over. I just discovered Helsa, which I love. I love Norma Kamali. She's on there. And guess what? Best part, whether it's a weekend getaway, a big night out, or just a little style refresh, your dream wardrobe is just one click away. It is so easy to shop on Revolve. Head to revolve.com/almost30. You can shop our edit and take 15% off your first order with code almost30. Fast 2-day shipping, easy returns, easy returns, which is awesome. And it's literally the only place you need to shop from. That's revolve.com/almost30 to shop our favorites and get 15% off your first order with code almost30. Offer ends October 12th. So happy shopping.
And what about it is it's pulling like toxins out in
So
that
when
way?
you are flooding the body with the right fats, it will actually go in and grab onto fat-soluble toxins and help to excrete them through the body, through sweat, through bowel movements, through urination. It's going to actually help through all those detoxification pathways.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you feel like are some other biohacks that you're doing right now that you swear by?
Exposure to the sun in healthy, safe ways, exposing your eyes to the sun. I'm such a, I've always been into fashion and I've always loved my sunglasses, but I'm like putting them aside because I just want to get my eyes in sunlight, particularly first thing in the morning. That's something I do as a mom. I make sure I wake up before my children are up. I need that time to just kind of center myself and get ready for the chaos of the day. And I start my day by having my coffee and looking at the sun almost every day. Not even at the sun. You're not staring at the sun. You're looking at the sky. You're getting your eyes exposed so that you can regulate your melatonin production and your circadian rhythm. That's, I think, a really strong biohack that I've been into lately. Seed cycling, I think, is another one that I've been experimenting with the last year that I'm really liking. Movement, I think, is so critically important.
What are you doing to move?
I just make sure I walk every day. I love Pilates. I love weightlifting. I love kettlebell workouts. But for me, if I can't find the time because my life is so busy and so chaotic right now, as long as I make sure I can get out for a walk and just have that movement and have a little bit of time to myself, I think it's really important. So I try to do it right after I drop the kids off at camp or work or at school, whatever it is. And then some other things that, I've just been swapping out, drinking more coffee, trying to go. I'm starting with, matchas in the middle of the day. Vitamin Bs, I think, are critically important for women. So I've been really optimizing my B intake. And then also little hacks. Like if we're sitting in front of a computer all day, I make sure I'm wearing blue light blockers. So you'll always see me not, in the middle of this because the reflection, but I always have on my yellow sunglasses. I can't do the red at night. It just doesn't work for me. I do red light bulbs in my house, but I can't do the red blue light blockers. And I always crack a window in any room that I'm in. It actually changes the structure of the light in the room. And I think it's really, really helpful for just kind of getting the right light into our rooms.
So that you always open a window.
Crack a window. Just has to be cracked, but it actually will change the structure of the light in the room.
Because?
It helps to bring in the natural light that's not being restricted by the windows.
By the actual window itself. Interesting.
Yeah. So it helps to just bring in that natural light.
From a
that I
fresh
think is
air
important.
perspective too. I love that. It's like, I also was thinking about, at the beginning we talked a little bit about your journey and the emotional experience that you went through and sort of the trauma and the response in the body. How do you support yourself emotionally and mentally?
Done a lot of work, a lot of self-work.
What does that mean for you?
I've done a lot of different forms of therapy, a lot of forms of group therapy.
Yeah.
My initial trauma, my father passed away by committing suicide. That's a huge, for an 18-year-old, that is just a life-altering, any age, it's a life-altering experience. And it's just happened to me again recently with a really close friend. And so I go back to those practices. I've been sitting on the beach, just looking up at the sky a lot. I've been reflecting on the tools that I have throughout my therapy journeys. One form of therapy I'm doing now is internal family systems, IFS, which I find really helpful. And I just bought a book on somatic therapy after listening to the podcast with, what was her name? Brittany
Piper.
Beautiful podcast.
Yeah, she's great.
And there's a somatic therapy and IFS book. So I reached out to Susan, who wrote that book, and asked for somatic therapists that actually also process and do IFS. So really
I'm
working
going to Spain
through
with Dick next
Nice.
month.
Amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And just, working on those types of things. At this point in my life, I wish I had more time to do more self-work. And so I need to do it in the bits that I can. And then I need to make sure I'm showing up in the right way and authentically for my husband, for my children, for my family members, for my community, for BodyBio, and doing it in a way that feels authentic to me. So in the last 10 days, I was like, I need it off. I don't want to be on. I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to do this. I don't want to think about it. I just need time to be on my own and just take a breath for a minute. So this is the first kind of podcast or anything I'm doing, and then I'm on a schedule of a bunch of others. But I think sometimes we need a minute, and taking that time for yourself is really important.
Yeah. What's been your relationship with social media?
It's a tough one. I have a hard boundary that I've set on my personal of I don't want to do it. I don't want my kids on there. I don't want my kids seeing me with a camera. I don't want them to see me. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just my personal boundary that I've placed on my privacy. Yeah. I love to educate. We've always led with our marketing at BodyBio is education. How do we provide the foundation so that people can understand these weird things like phosphatidylcholine and butyrate? And so you'll see me on stories educating, but I draw that line there. And then I've got a great team who help me at BodyBio with, okay, let's record this, do this. They'll set up a whole schedule for me. They'll come out and record it. And then I set that boundary again. And I'm now toying with like, okay, what are my boundaries on other platforms? Are there other ways that I can educate and do what feels good to me, whether it's X or whether it's LinkedIn? I haven't figured that out. But I was walking with a friend the other morning just on the beach, and I said to her, I think I cannot do Instagram. I don't want to be doing reels. I don't want to be doing trending content. It's just, it doesn't resonate for me in my life at this point in my life. That might change in 10 years when my babies are a little older. But right now for me, it's really important that they just see me authentically, that I can put away my phone and not be thinking about the brain space that it requires to, oh, I should record this. Oh, let me get a video of my vitamin drawer. I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
And I could probably do a bunch of content on my personal and grow it, and it would benefit BodyBio, but I have to have boundaries with things that don't feel right at this phase of my life.
Very self-honoring. Yeah, it was like the social media is self-honoring, and then even the path of your healing, it's like being self-honoring.
Yeah.
Like just like, okay, how can I still be authentic in this process? How can I stand true? But yeah, I mean, having 3 kids and then being like a whole social media, like that is like,
And then running a business,
Yeah,
right? My husband and I are
exactly.
running a business together. There's nuance with that.
yeah, totally.
We have like half our family working at the business.
Totally.
Wow.
There's nuance within that.
Yeah.
And it's all about that, like balance and boundaries and understanding different relationships, and the amount of time it takes to, prevent myself from getting overwhelmed, even with all the different things, is huge. And so I think that there's just certain things that I can't commit to at this point. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
And like your effort and energy within like the business realm is best spent on the business, on educating rather than doing the content, et cetera. So it's like knowing where your energy, your talents are best spent.
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy how social media for founders and like female founders, it's like before it was like you had your business, and now it's like everybody has to be like a full-time creator too. Like it's like par for the course. And it's like, I don't think people recognize, maybe they do. I don't want to, I keep saying that in interviews. I'm like, I don't want to keep being like, I don't think people understand, because maybe they do. But like it's a full-time job, part-time job at least, to be creating content, posting content, being online like that. And then also a lot of people are founders and you're doing like a full-time job. It's like the internet addition, the addition of social media to life is just so much time and energy that's just like expected now and is normalized. It's so crazy.
It is. And I think there's a lot of health and wellness trends that are fear-based.
Oh, yeah.
And the trending things and the things that perform well are often coming from a place of fear or sowing fear in people's minds. And I cannot go there.
Yeah,
I just can't. I want to talk about it from a place of empowerment always. And I think for me, it's just something I try to avoid. It's like, let's educate, let's be positive. We have this amazing Facebook group with like 11,000 people in it that I remember starting and being like, nobody's going to join this. And now it's huge. But I find so many people start in there with the fear, and it's like, okay, let's come out of that mind space and let's get to a place of abundance and getting to the root cause and being curious and understanding the why, and I think educating helps to do that.
So good. This has been amazing. I would love for you to recommend like your top 3 BodyBio products to someone listening. I know it can be very specific, but top
I think
3.
it's really easy. I put them together in a bundle during COVID because I was like, oh, this makes sense. Let's just throw it together. And I didn't really think about like the strategy behind it, but it's the true foundation of BodyBio and the products that my grandfather made first. And that's PC, balance oil, and butyrate. And it's convenient. It's 2 capsules of each a day. It's a great starting place. See how you feel. If you're feeling good, you may want to try others and you may want to dose up. If you are experiencing mold toxicity or you are dealing with Lyme, you may want to talk to your practitioner about much higher doses than that. If you're dealing with a child with neurodevelopmental issues, they may be on a higher dose, but it's a good starting place and it's somewhere really easy that people can start. We make everything ourselves. So we make a lot of these products in-house. Some are made, at contract manufacturers under our guidelines. Some are bottled in different places or encapsulated in different places. And we bring it all together in New Jersey. And it allows us to have an oversight into it. But it also gives us huge constraints when some, companies can come out with a multi-pack or a little sachet that makes it really easy. For us, it would take like a year to even figure out how to do that. So I don't do things in the most convenient ways for people. I also haven't added flavorings and made it taste good for people. We haven't changed the complicated names of these things for a reason, because it's just inherently not who we are. And we stay very true to like what the products are and how they are found in nature and in our bodies. So I don't make it easy, but I think foundational makes it pretty easy for everyone.
Love that. Beautiful.
Amazing.
So glad to have you.
Yeah,
Thanks
for being here.
All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jess Kane of BodyBio, for joining us on Almost 30. You can get your BodyBio products for a discount at bodybio.com, and you can use our code Almost30.
Morning Microdose is our Clips channel you can dig into now. It's ad-free, 5 to 10 minutes of motivation for every single day. It's a really popular show that we created just for you out of love. Almost 30 podcast on TikTok. We have our clips. We have lots more clips of the show on TikTok, and then Almost 30 podcast on Instagram. We share really helpful resources on there as well. Really loving what our Instagram's been doing lately. And then YouTube. So we're on video on YouTube. You can listen and check us out live in living color right now.
Heck yeah. All right. We love you all. We'll see you on the next one.
See you soon.
Bye.